Hello again. We now have the privilege of hearing from two of Israel's greatest champions in Congress. Congressman Ted Deutch serves, there's the Florida contingent. He serves as the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on the Middle East, North Africa, and International Terrorism. He's been a great friend. He has sponsored numerous pieces of pro-Israel legislation and is a real leader on our issues and other issues. We're very lucky to have him. He's joined on stage by Congresswoman and Vice-Ranking Member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Ann Wagner, also a longtime friend and leader of the pro-Israel cause. Together, they'll be discussing Israel's security and how congressional leadership is essential to an improved U.S.-Israel alliance. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Representatives Ted Deutch and Ann Wagner. How are you? Welcome. Nice to see you.
Hi, Esther.
Thank you. Got a lot of friends out there.
Wow, what a setup.
So let me start out with the fact that you're obviously a liberal Democrat and a conservative Republican. And we all know that Washington is more partisan than ever, as is the rest of the country, and yet more unites you than divides you when it comes to Israel. And so Israel continues, hopefully, to be one of those issues that members across the aisle can work together on. And I'd love both of you to talk about, why is that the case? And in this hyper-partisan environment that we're all living in, do you think it's still sustainable? And I don't know if Congresswoman, you want to start?
Sure, I'm happy to start, and thank you, and thanks to AIPAC, and 20,000 strong, I hear, this year. It's absolutely amazing. And I think you'll find that the cause of Israel and the Jewish state and the wonderful strength and between the U.S. and Israel and our relationship is very bipartisan and very, very strong, deeply so. Whether you're of the Jewish faith or whether you're a Catholic Christian conservative as I am, it runs, I think, deep beneath and underpins all of us. I mean, without Israel, it is the only place in the Middle East that fights the kind of aggression that goes on. It is the beacon of peace and prosperity, and I think the U.S.-Israel relationship is one that transcends all politics. I was pleased to be able to put forward on a very bipartisan nature, and you were very helpful, Ted, in co-sponsoring, but there were 4 of us that put together the big House resolution some months ago on the BDS bill, and the strong opposition and condemnation of BDS. And it also talked about our great support for Israel, and I have to say that was Congressman Nadler, Chairman Nadler, it was Schaefer, Zeldin, and myself that put that forward, and it passed with 398 votes. That is bipartisan. That is strong. That's what brings us together. So
that was a very important effort. Thank you both. Ted, do you think it's still possible to keep that strength from the bipartisanship?
Of course I do. Look at this room, first of all. Thanks for having me. It is good to be home with my AIPAC friends. And look, I think what Ann just said is the best response. Look only to what we've done. I think that's the best indication of how strong the bipartisan support for Israel is. The anti-BDS resolution that Ann talked about passed with almost 400 votes.
Right.
In the House of Representatives. And I know, I think Congressman Schneider is actually here. I wanted to call him out as well for his leadership in our caucus and working so hard to ensure that strong vote went up on the board. That's really important. The U.S.-Israel Cooperation Enhancement and Regional Security Act, a piece of legislation that I introduced with Joe Wilson, the ranking member of the Middle East Subcommittee, we passed that unanimously in the House. passed it with almost 300 co-sponsors, evenly split between Democrats and Republicans. It will, I hope we'll get a chance to talk more about it. It'll build out the relationship beyond the security relationship and all of the ways that the U.S. and Israel can strengthen one another. I don't pretend that there aren't some challenges. There are. But you need to look at what we've done, what we've accomplished, and even with those challenges, there might be a handful of loud voices, but the overall support for the State of Israel comes with a thunderously loud vote in Congress. That's what we see time and time again.
Yep, thanks very much to your leadership, but also thank you to everyone in this room. It doesn't happen without the lobbying efforts that you're going to be doing on Tuesday and do throughout the year in terms of educating your members of Congress on all these important issues. So let me start on a few of the issues. Congresswoman Wagner, the issue of security assistance. You are very cautious about federal spending generally, but you're a big supporter of the foreign, specifically aid to Israel. So what are some of the best arguments to make to a skeptical member of Congress about aid to Israel, why it's so important, and the overall foreign aid bill as well?
Well, and hopefully there are very few skeptics to aid to Israel. I mean, you're under Israel, the State of Israel is under an existential threat that surrounds it. And look at the threat that comes from Iran and its proxies of Hezbollah and Hamas and others in the region. What's important about the security aid and foreign aid that we provide for Israel is that we too, as the United States of America, see the fruits of that. We are safe and secure if Israel and the State of Israel is safe and secure. If there is, yes, it's true. The stability in the region depends upon this beacon of hope, which is the State of Israel. And the way that we are able to partner together on our missile defense issues and so many other things are very, very important. I'm thrilled that, and have to give major kudos to Chairman of the Middle East Subcommittee, Ted Deutch, for being able to put that in an MOU and get that codified last July, which was very, very important, that aid be consistent, codified, and upheld from MOU to MOU.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and you mentioned it as well, Ted, the H.R. 1837, the U.S.-Israel Cooperation Enhancement and Regional Security Act, right?
It's a mouthful. Yeah.
There's got to be an acronym there somewhere, but I don't think it really works. You did get it passed unanimously, and it was an amazing achievement. Many of you lobbied on that bill last year. And in addition to authorizing the MOU, which is very important, the bill details some exciting new cooperative programs between the United States and Israel in non-defense areas. And I don't know how many of you saw the video with Congressman Deutch that talked about some of these areas that are so critically important. Maybe you can detail some of the ones you find most exciting.
Sure.
And what does that tell us about the future of the U.S.-Israel relationship? Is this something that goes well beyond the $5 or $10 million that's being funded today for these programs?
Sure. No, I appreciate it. The new legislation is really building upon the bill that we passed a few years ago, again with the support of so many AIPAC activists who came to support the U.S.-Israel Strategic Partnership Act, a bill that I proudly introduced and passed with my dear friend Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, who was a great champion for the U.S.-Israel relationship during her time in Congress. And the new legislation moves even beyond agriculture and technology that bill focused on, energy and water, and it recognizes that there are other opportunities where the United States and Israel can lead. And I heard Senator Coons talk about one of them, and it's the one that excites me as well, and the issue of humanitarian assistance and food security and dealing with global threats. We have the chance in this bill to recognize that the United States Agency for International Development, which is so critical in providing assistance around the world, can partner with and help elevate the role that Israel plays. People here know, but I think the whole world should know, whenever there's a natural disaster, one of the first countries in the world, if not the first country offering assistance, is the state of Israel. If we can partner with Israel, it's incredible what we'll be able to do in places all around the world.
And again, thank you for the bill. It's very important. Quickly on Iran and the regional threat that Iran poses, we all know what's been happening in recent years. The Iranians have been all over the region. They've been selling arms. They've been selling, giving arms, training, providing Hezbollah with missiles, Hamas with missiles, really threatening Israel and the U.S. and the region. Is there more we can do to help Israel meet those threats? I don't know if either of you want to, what can be done to stop the Iranians, to help Israel?
I think that the joint operations that we're able to do together when it comes to national security and defense, the way that our U.S. military and the Israeli Defense Forces team up and do these exercises, whether it's with David Sling or you know, whatever the missile
Iron
defense,
Dome,
you know, Iron Dome, all of them have been just so amazing. We had one out in Alaska not too long ago where we were able to really test that at the ballistic level, which was key. So I think the partnership is what we can do, and we rely on each other for that safety and security in the region, and then for us globally. So I think those are the kinds of things we have to continue to do, and plus up that military aid, especially when it comes to the common defense. It's very, very important, but the joint partnership that is just seamless and is not always the case throughout is very, very important. I think there's more we can do on a diplomatic side also. You know, we have got to do more at the United Nations to tamp down on this anti-Semitic rhetoric that we hear that's coming out of the UN, I have to say, and we must push our partners in Europe and elsewhere to make sure that we're doing more both on the diplomatic front, on the defense front. Partnering together is, I think, very key. And
I would just add to Congresswoman Wagner's comments, the role that everyone here plays, because it's true in standing up to Iran, it's true in making sure that our colleagues understand the threats that Israel faces by those who try to delegitimize it in the international community. But it's in large part because of the activists like all of you that people like the two of us who care so deeply about this issue have the support that we need. All of the people here who will be going up to Capitol Hill, which I hope is all of you, when you have the opportunity to meet with members of Congress and their staff, and you have the chance to express why this matters so much to you, why it's in the best interest not just of Israel but of the United States to stand up to the threats that Israel faces, to be there to bolster Israel's security so that Israel can defend herself by herself. That message that you bring, that very personal message that is founded upon a deep understanding that you've been getting here over the past couple of days, that's what really helps to move our colleagues. And so I just want to take a moment to thank all of the activists who will be coming up to the Hill for your work in strengthening the U.S.-Israel relationship and for making our work so much easier. We're proud, and I think I speak for Congresswoman Wagner, we're proud to be your partners in this really important work.
To you.
On that very positive note, thank you for your partnership with us. We really appreciate your leadership on all these issues, and we'll continue to move forward stronger together, because that's what it's all about in terms of America's security.
It is, Esther, and when you're up on the Hill this week, be sure and encourage members of Congress on both sides of the aisle to go and visit Israel so they can tell your truth. Make the stories personal. Those are very, very key. This is personal to all of us, and until you've been there, until you've seen it, I don't think people fully understand. So make sure, I came back just again another time in August, and that makes a real difference. But the education, the awareness, the enthusiasm that you're bringing to the Hill, the presence by all of you is key. So thank you, Esther, for hosting us here today, and thanks to all of you for what you continue continue to do for our U.S.-Israel relationship.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Esther.
Thank you, Congressman Deutch and Congresswoman Wagner. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
You can go out that way.